everyone, welcome back to the Good Food channel. I'm Helena and today we're diving into some mouth-watering veggie mains. Whether you're a lifelong vegetarian or just looking to cut back on meat, these dishes are going to prove that comfort food can be just as satisfying without the meat. We've got 3 incredible recipes lined up today. First, we're making the best ever macaroni cheese. Creamy, cheesy, and oh so comforting, it's the ultimate in terms of comfort food. Next, we'll spice things up with a satay sweet potato curry, a dish that's packed with flavour and has just the right amount of spice. And finally, we're going classic with a mushroom risotto. Rich, creamy, and full of umami goodness. It's sure to become a staple in your kitchen. So whether you're cooking for Meat-Free Monday or just want to enjoy some plant-based goodness, these recipes are going to hit the spot. Let's dive in. Let's start with one of my favourite vegetarian curries. It's a satay sweet potato curry, and it's got over 1,000 5-star ratings on the Good Food website, so it must be good. We're going to go in with some coconut oil to start. All good meals start with a chopped onion, so here we go. In with a big pinch of salt, we're adding flavour and we're also helping to break the onions down so they soften a bit quicker. These onions are starting to soften and catch and turn golden around the edges, so we can add in our garlic and ginger. And we'll go in with a couple of tablespoons of red Thai curry paste. This smells so good. Make sure to keep stirring this because it can catch on the bottom and nobody wants a burnt curry for dinner. And now for the element that makes it a satay, some smooth peanut butter. You can use crunchy if you like, but smooth is my favourite. Now in with our chunks of sweet potato. Stir really well to make sure that the sweet potato is all coated in that lovely spice paste we've made. Now we go in with our tin of full fat coconut milk and make sure to really scrape up the bottom as well because we've got lots of lovely caramelization, or fond if you're feeling chefy. You've spent the time softening your onions, looking after the curry, making it delicious, so you do want to scrape up all of that time and effort with the caramelization off of the bottom. And in with 200 ml of water. Give that a good stir. We're going to simmer that for 30 to 35 minutes until the sweet potato is tender. We simmer with the lid off because it helps the liquid evaporate, so we get a lovely thick curry sauce. Our curry has been bubbling away now for a good half an hour. The sweet potato is tender and it's thickened and reduced. So we're going to add the juice of a lime. Acidity in food is really important. It actually helps to season your dish. Seasoning usually refers to salt, but it also can refer to acid as well. Acidity in food actually makes your mouth water, so it's what makes you come back for more, bite after bite. Stir that in. And now we're adding in some healthy green spinach. You could use kale if you like, or any other veg. Some frozen peas would work really nicely. And we'll wilt this in before adding the next handful. You can add the lid on in between handfuls to help wilt it quicker. I don't think that a day will ever go by where I'm not surprised by how much spinach cooks away to nothing. Alrighty, we have a cooked curry. Let's serve it up. Let's sprinkle with some dry roasted peanuts for a little texture. And squeeze over a nice bit of lime. Okay, let's dive in. So good. The freshness of the lime at the end. Alright, let's get started with our mushroom risotto. Now I warn you, the secret ingredient with risotto is time. It's gonna take a little bit of time and you're gonna have to have a little bit of patience, but you will be rewarded with the most delicious, unctuous risotto ever. Let's go. We're going to start by making our stock liquid, and they have a base of porcini mushrooms. These are dried and we're gonna rehydrate them by covering them in water. They have a really umami, almost kind of marmite-y smell. They're really nice. We're going in with 2 tablespoons of olive oil, some chopped onion. You could also use shallot if you like. said it before, I'll say it again. When an onion goes into the pan, so does salt. These onions are starting to soften nicely, so we're going to add in 2 cloves of crushed garlic. While our garlic cooks off, we'll come back to our mushroom stock. We're going to scoop out these porcini mushrooms and set them aside. And into our mushroom liquid goes a vegetable stock cube for that extra layer of umami. We'll just stir it gently to dissolve. Because we don't want to waste a drop of that precious porcini liquid, I'm going to take the rehydrated mushrooms and squeeze them back into there. Do wait for these to cool down a bit first. Alrighty, our onions and garlic are smelling delicious. They're lovely and softened. So we're going to go in with our mushrooms. We have got 250 grams of chopped chestnut mushrooms here, but you could customize it. Go wild. The mushrooms of your heart's desires. Gnocchi, button, portobello, king oyster, anything you like. Remember those porcini from before? They're going in too. And we're going to cook these for 7 to 8 minutes until they're golden and caramelized. Our mushrooms are looking lovely and darkened. We've got a lot of caramelization on the bottom of the pan. So let's get our risotto rice in. We're using arborio risotto rice, but you could also use a carnaroli. It's very traditional in Italian cuisine. We'll just toast this for about a minute and then we'll get in with our wine. Woo, mamma mia. Use that wine to scrape up all of the caramelization on the bottom. And we'll cook until it's pretty much all bubbled away. If you wanted to keep it alcohol-free, you could just sub this for stock. Our wine is pretty much all bubbled away now, so we're going to be adding in our mushroom stock a ladleful at a time. This is where your patience really comes into play. So we're going to be stirring in our stock a ladleful at a time until it absorbs that ladleful of stock. Once it's absorbed, you add the next one. And we keep stirring to encourage the rice grains to give up their starch, which helps create a really creamy, luxurious risotto. So that's pretty much all absorbed. And we'll go in with our next one. And we're going to keep going until we've used all of the stock up. If you're getting tired, recruit a family member. Cooking is a team sport. This risotto is so nearly there. It's looking really creamy and delicious. So we're going to add in our final ladleful of stock. If you happen to run out of your mushroom stock before your rice is tender, you can always add in some more vegetable stock, or failing that, just some boiling water would be fine. You want to keep the stock hot or warm because you don't want to lower the temperature of the pan every time you'd add cold water. So hot water or just about boiling is best. Just going to season with a little bit of black pepper and some salt. Please do be tasting as you go when you're doing your cooking in general. I think sometimes when we're cooking, we are wrapped up in the task of it. So when it comes to the table, you actually think, I don't actually know what this thing tastes like. When really, you should know exactly what it tastes like, especially if you're serving it to friends and family. Then you know it's well seasoned. And I'm going to practice what I preach and give it a taste. Perfectly seasoned, a little warmth with the black pepper. And to finish off our risotto, we're about to start a process called mantecatura, which is the Italian word for creamy, whipped or whisked. And effectively what that means is we're going to beat in some butter and some parmesan to make it really, really creamy. A good risotto should sigh when it goes onto the plate. It shouldn't be kind of sloppy, but it should have a lovely relaxed texture to it. And half of our parmesan. All right. I reckon this is ready to serve. And you can see how it just sighs onto the plate. And of course we have to shower it with more parmesan. I think shower with your heart. It's like when you go to a restaurant and they do parmesan. They say, is that enough? It's never enough. And then a little bit of parsley for some freshness. Let's give this a try. So so good. It's got an earthiness from the mushrooms, creaminess from the parmesan, and a little bit of freshness from the parsley. It's an absolute winner. Now we're going to make my absolute favourite comfort food dish. It's our ultimate mac and cheese. So we're going to start with a breadcrumb topping because I like a bit of texture in my mac and cheese. So we've got a torn baguette here and we're going to pour over some melted butter. Then we'll sprinkle with a little salt. And then we're going to get our hands dirty and mix this all together. We've torn the baguette rather than chopped it so that we can get some lovely gnarly crispy edges and they go golden in the oven. Okay, let's get that into the oven. Next up, we're going to make our cheese sauce. So to start off with, some salted butter going into a warm pan. Now we're going to flavour our sauce with some garlic and some mustard powder. Now's a really good time to add any flavourings you might like in your sauce because we're going to toast them in the butter. So we're adding mustard powder and garlic, but you could do paprika, some cayenne pepper, anything you like really. And in with some mustard powder. This complements the cheesiness really well. And that will only need about 30 seconds or so. We're not looking to brown our butter this time, as whilst brown butter does taste delicious, it actually means that sauces don't thicken quite as well, as the more you brown flour, the less thickening qualities it has. Now that our mustard powder and garlic are nicely toasted, we're going to add in our flour. We're just going to stir this until it becomes a lovely paste. We're cooking it out very lightly, as you don't want to toast your flour too much. So only a minute or so. All right, we're going to go in a little at a time with our whole milk. If you want to keep things vegan, you could use a vegan butter, and plant milk would work well too. And we're just adding a little at a time so that we get a lovely smooth sauce. Patience really is the key here, adding it little by little, and stirring nicely. Makes sure we have a lovely sauce. Our sauce is nearly ready, we just need to add the last splash of milk. Now don't panic at this point because the sauce might look a little thin. When I was at culinary school and I was first learning how to make all the classic French sauces, I actually shed tears over the fact that my sauce wouldn't thicken, but it's because I didn't listen to the next step. You need to bring this to the boil for a good minute, and then it'll be thickened and lovely and we can add our cheese. You'll know that the sauce is thickened because you can draw a line through it on the back of your spatula. Now we're going in with the best bit of a mac and cheese, the cheese. So we've got a really sharp aged cheddar here, and that's going in. I've turned the heat off so that we don't get a stringy sauce, but it'll still melt nicely. And we just stir that in until smooth and luxurious. Now we're going in with our parmesan, but to keep things vegetarian, you can use a parmesan alternative. And as tempting as it is to use all of it in one go, do try and save a little bit of parmesan for the top. Okay, so we have our Mornay sauce now. Now I think it's quite common to hear that people call this a bechamel. It is not a bechamel, it's a Mornay sauce. Bechamel does not have cheese in it. So there you go, fun fact of the day. Before we add our pasta to our cheese sauce, we're going to season it. And pepper. And in with our 300 grams of cooked pasta. You can use any small shape, little macaroni or conchigli or fusilli would all work well. No long pastas, I'm not allowing it. And now we fold this in. If your pan is oven proof, you can go straight into the oven, but we're going to transfer ours to a nice baking dish. Here we are, our gorgeous golden breadcrumbs, and these are getting spooned all over the top. If you didn't have a baguette at home, panko breadcrumbs would work really well too. I've also known people to put crushed up cheese and onion crisps on top. And our final step is another sprinkling of parmesan. So I'm not sure there is such thing as too much cheese in mac and cheese. This is going into the oven for 20 minutes until gorgeous, golden and bubbling. And here it is, the most gorgeous, golden, bubbling mac and cheese. I can't wait to eat it. This smells absolutely incredible. I hope you could hear how crispy that breadcrumb topping was. Cheesy, perfectly seasoned, just the perfect bowl of food, really. And there you have it, 3 veggie mains that are every bit as comforting and satisfying as their meaty counterparts. This macaroni cheese is pure comfort in a bowl. The satay sweet potato, packed with flavour. And the mushroom risotto, creamy, rich and full of umami. If you love these recipes, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and hit that subscribe button. And let me know in the comments which dish you're most excited to try. And don't forget to check out goodfood.com or download our app for the full recipes. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.